30-day streak. NFL Week 8. Locks all over. Let's go. Crazy. Another 2-team parlay hit last night. Blues got it done in the third period. FC Dallas scored a late goal to push the over 2.5. Shifted down from 3.5. Easy money right there. We got UFC 267. I actually fell asleep. Missed out on the locks. Good thing because John Blauschewitz, my dog Blauschewitz got submitted. We did say Glover Teixeira could put him in the hard scarf. Ended up getting the submission yesterday. But Peter Yan put on a clinic versus Corey Sandhagen. Ended up getting the victory. That Edmonton-Vancouver game could have been so many goals. Only ended up with 3. Come on. Now on the Sunday show, got a few NBA locks for y'all. An NHL lock. NFL, we got about what? 8 locks for y'all. We don't pick the whole slate because who the fuck's gonna get every pick right? Now imagine that. Imagine we did Branks close that 1 week. Still gotta get Branks to tap in on some more Branks locks. But for this week we got soccer. Sunday, spooky. It's about to get spooky out here. It's Halloween. Haha. Got that drop. But let's get into it. Now, for soccer locks, the early one we had was at 7:30. Had Inter at home versus Udinese. Now, Inter have won 5 of their last 6 home games versus Udinese. And Udinese, on the other hand, only 1 win in their last 6 away games. So let's go check this out. See who's up in that game. Oh, Inter just scored. That's crazy. We seen it live right there. That's absolutely wild. Who scored? So soon it doesn't even have a goal score. But that's beautiful. Let's get it. Starting the day off. Hopefully it stays. We seen Liverpool yesterday. Fucking blow it. Blew a 2-0 lead. Could have been up 3-0. Got ruled out. Let up a goal before half. And it was just downhill from there. That's rough. That's rough right there. But Inter, up 1-0 to start the day. We took a money line. I think they were minus 334. I had a feeling it was going to be a close game. They could come out, score another one. They do have, 29 minutes to do it plus added time. But if they do, guarantee a winner. So the next one we got over in the Czech First League at 1 p.m. We got Slavia Prague versus Vulcan Posen. Now, Slavia Prague have won 6 straight home games, and they're unbeaten in their last 13 games at home. Compared to Posen, only 3 wins over their last 7 away games, with 4 losses in that time. And Slavia Prague, they won 8 of their last 9 meetings at home versus Posen. So we're locking in Slavia Prague minus 163 on the money line. Let's go see if that had changed. Check First League. Still minus 163. Might change a little bit, but we're definitely locking them in for the first lock of the day. Now, what's the next one? Over in the Premier League, we got Aston Villa at home versus West Ham. Now, Aston Villa lost their last home game. Crazy comeback by Wolves, especially on the road. Ended up losing 3-2 after being up 2-0. I said, damn, that's absolutely wild. We just got pregnant shorties down here. We gotta get rid of this quick. I just peeped that. But I'm looking at West Ham, 4 straight clean sheets, unbeaten in their last 9 away games, And Aston Villa, winless in their last 4 home games versus West Ham. I'm going to take West Ham on the road, plus 145 to get the victory. And especially because they beat them in their last away game, traveling to Villa, 3-1. Lock them in, lock them in. Let's get it. West Ham, money line. So what's the next one? We already said into Serie A. Now at 10 o'clock over in Serie A, we got Fiorentina versus Bezia. Now, these teams have only met twice. Fiorentina, I seen that line actually changing all over. It was at minus 180. It was at minus 225 yesterday. Jumped up to minus 200 this morning. And that's where it's still at. So, that line shifting all over. Vlahovic, I think he'll get a goal in this one. Spezia, they've given up goals in 27 straight matches. That's absolutely crazy. So I think Fiorentina, they'll be able to keep them out. They have 5 wins and 5 losses on the year. Go over here. Look at the standings. 13 goals for, 13 goals against, even goal difference. But Spezia, sitting 17th in the league, have given up the most goals in the league. There's no chance they get it done here. So, we're locking in Fiorentina, minus 200, minus 225. If you get them at minus 180, that shit's clutch. So, the next one, over in the MLS, 1 p.m. we got Minnesota United at home versus Sporting KC. Now, this line is kind of wild. If Sporting KC, if they've won 6 of their last 10 away games, beat Minnesota United 4-0 in their last meeting at home, and you got Minnesota United who have given up 6 goals in their last 3 games, how the fuck is Sporting KC plus 245? Let's see if that line shifted. It had to have. Beat them 4-0 in their last, and now it's plus 270. I think it might be because Saloy out? One of their top strikers? He might be. See that? Saloy said he's questionable. 16 goals this year, 8 assists in 27 matches. Out there balling. But didn't play the last 2 games. But they still won 2-1 in both those games. Well, actually kept a clean sheet versus the LA Galaxy in their last game. So that's a crazy line to me. And plus 270, getting them plus a half, that's going to be at least plus 100. So let's see. That shifted a lot, actually. Minus 120. That's a guaranteed lock. And I'm going to stay away from the over-under because if Saloy doesn't play, I think it'll be a close battle. You got Sporting KC. They're first in the West, 17, 7-7 on the year, with the second most goals in the whole league. And that's just behind the Revs, who have been straight balling this year. So I'm locking in Sporting KC plus a half, minus 120. That's great odds right there. So let's get it. Let's get it. And we got 2 more MLS locks for y'all. Houston Dynamo at home versus the Colorado Rapids. Now this is a line that might have shifted also. See, I didn't get him in soon enough. Just last night, less than 12 hours ago, Houston Dynamo plus 150, Colorado Rapids plus 170. That didn't make sense to me. Now, Rapids favored by a half. Houston Dynamo now underdogs plus 165. Now that might just shift my picks just a little bit. Damn. Because we had Colorado Rapids off rip plus a half. Coming off 2 straight wins at Houston Dynamo with a 5-2 goal difference. Sitting third. I'm pretty sure has to be the West. Imagine that Colorado team not in the West. But just to make sure, in the Western Conference, sitting third, 15 wins, 10 draws, and 7 losses. Only 33 goals given up. That's second best in the whole conference. When you're facing a Houston Dynamo team, sitting 12th, out of the playoff picture, giving up 51 goals on the year. Only 6 wins. Like, that was absolutely crazy line that came out. But now, we're going to have to take them on the money line. I think Colorado Rapids, depending who they start, not dealing with any injuries. Houston Dynamo, dealing with 6 players out. There's no chance they get the victory. Dynamo coming off back-to-back losses where they gave up 2+ goals in each. And Rapids have won the last 3 meetings with 4 out of the last 5 hitting over 2.5. Let's switch up the pick just a little. We're going to take Colorado plus, what were they, 155. See, you see the little shift alive. I didn't know it was going to hit this, but it's kind of how we ciphered through. We're going to take them plus 155. See? And then plus a half just last night was minus 170. That even would have been great odds to add to a parlay. Guaranteed hitter. But now we're going to take Colorado Rapids money line plus 155 and the over 2.5. That has now shifted, actually stayed the same. The over is still minus 140. I think Colorado Rapids might let up a goal, but they're going to score, offer it, have 5 goals in their last 2 away games versus Houston. Lock it in. And then the last lock in the MLS that we got for y'all at 7:30, Philadelphia Union. Move from minus 355 to minus 380. FC Cincy from plus 950 to now plus 1,000. There's no chance they get it done, but this actually might have shifted the 1.5. Oh, you could still get a minus 1.5. That's a solid pick right there. You got the Philadelphia Union, Philadelphia, coming off 4 straight home wins with only 1 goal given up in those 4 matches. And they won the only 2 home games ever versus Cincy by 2+ goals. So I think they'll definitely get it done here, especially when Cincy has given up 70 goals on the year. 70 goals on the year. That's absolutely crazy. 15 goals given up in their last 3 games. That's 5 goals a game. Y'all need to get it together. That's crazy. Coming off 10 straight losses. Come on. Philadelphia is going to absolutely dominate that game. Money line's probably going to shift to minus 400 and plus, but you want to get the minus 1.5 before it shifts maybe to 2.5. I don't see how it doesn't shift to that. And granted, MLS, it's always like closer odds, but FC Cincy, 10 straight losses, 70 goals given up in 32 matches. That's crazy. So that wraps it up. And ooh. See, I did say Philly minus 1.5 and minus 3, which is now 380 to the parlay. I think you could add minus 1.5 to the parlay, but just to be safe, if you want to add the minus 380, that's good too. You could definitely add that shit. Hit it all over. Let's get it. Now, heading over to the NBA, heading over to the court, where we got Dallas at home versus Sacramento. Now, Dallas coming off a 106-75 loss at Denver, sitting 3-2 on the year. Sacramento, 3-2 on the year, same thing. But they're coming off back-to-back road wins over New Orleans and Phoenix. Now, these lines hadn't dropped when I was looking at them. And now this game's at 340. Lines have dropped. I said I was going to take Sacramento, whatever they were plus. So now, we're just rattling off. Now we're going to take them plus 4.5 because that line didn't drop. As you see, the money line's still not out. And good thing this line dropped too. Now Portland Trail Blazers and the Charlotte Hornets. Charlotte's at home. We said we were going to take Portland. Now, if we look more into that, today they got, 7 o'clock game, favored by a point. What I'm looking at is the offensive rating for each team inside the top 8. Defensive rating, Charlotte 27th compared to Portland, sitting 8th also. So, pretty even team for Portland. Their pace, 2nd in the league. Charlotte, tied for 5th. I think this is guaranteed. The key stat I'm looking at, Portland 0-1 on the road this year. Charlotte 1-1 at home. But Portland coming off back-to-back wins. I'm a lock in. I think Portland gets it done here. It could be tough. Charlotte got them high flyers. Shout out Charlotte with the Panthers, but I don't rock with the Hornets. I rock with the Thunder. You already know. Shout out Westbrook. Westbrook hitting him. Nah, he's going to turn up. He OKC legend. Right along with Durant, even though he left us on some whole shit. Gotta do what's best for yourself. Okay, whatever. Whatever, we passed it. Obviously not. But Portland on the road to get the victory over under at 229.5. I'm going to take the over for sure. I think they're going to put up points. I think Portland, they might let up. I don't think they let up more than 110. I think they're going to put up points, though. And McCollum, Dame Lillard, you even got Nurkic. He's been a beast this year. McCollum averaging 24. Miles Bridges, though, averaging 25.5 and 8 with over 1.5 steals. Almost 1 block a game. That boy's out there balling through 6 games. So this is going to be a high-flying matchup. Even on the money line, I mean, basically even. What's the odds? Well, actually, as we see, Sacramento and Dallas, that money line just dropped. I wouldn't be surprised to see the Kings get the win. But, and Portland already changed to even. So, minus 110, pick 'em. And the over-under shifted to 230. God dang. We're going to still take the over. And Portland versus Charlotte, it's going to be a high-flying game. I think Portland gets it done. But I'm going to stay away from a lock. If I had to pick the game, I would take Portland. But my lock for that game, over 229.5. And I'm going to take Sacramento plus 4.5. That's a line that might shift to 4, maybe even 3.5 by tip-off. So those are my NBA locks for the day. And my only NHL lock for today. We've been hitting some chill locks. Over-unders been a little sketchy, so I might stay away from it, see what's up. But Charlotte. In Carolina, they play in, Raleigh? But Carolina Hurricanes, they were minus 320 yesterday, shifted just a little to minus 330. But we're going to take Carolina minus 1.5 to get at least a 2-goal victory versus the Arizona Coyotes. Now, Carolina, undefeated this year, 7-0-0. 6 of the last 7 games have been by 2+ goals, compared to Arizona, where 0-7-1 on the year, haven't picked up a victory yet, and off a 2-0 loss at Washington, where they kept it close. Washington got some late goals, got the victory, which was one of our locks. Shout out the Capitals, give it up for them. But Arizona, they're all 5 straight losses by 2+ goals. And with the over-under sitting at 6, I could easily see Carolina covering a 1.5 spread and a hitting over 6. Carolina's been absolutely dominant this year. If we look now, Carolina, what do they got? Teravainen, Frederik Andersen, 1.33 goals against average with a 95. Actually, we'll give them 96. It's over 5. 96% save percentage. That boy's flashing the leather, getting them pads out there, working with the stick. That boy protecting the crease. And I think Carolina at home, guaranteed victory. Goals allowed, Arizona's last in the league, giving up 4.5. Carolina, first in the league, only giving up a little over 1.5 a game. Averaging the most goals compared to Arizona, averaging the least. This is a guaranteed lock. Lock them in, lock them in. Now let's get over the NFL week 8. Now, 8, that's a lucky number right there. Could it be? Could it be the week 8 parlay hitter? Come on. Those are the little locks we got for y'all today. We're gonna clear this out, but just so y'all can see it, get a little Zoom status. What's up with y'all? There we go. Did I go through it too quick? Inter, hopefully they still up. West Ham now plus 150. Slavia, Prague haven't switched. That's beautiful right there. But we're going to clear that out. We're going to get over to NFL Week 8. Now, this is going to be a huge week. Huge week. Carolina, fuck them. Seen them get blown out live last week. That was horrible. But we got some fire locks for y'all this week. Now, Chicago versus San Fran, my first lock for the week. Let's take a live look. That Inter game, I feel like they gave up a goal. I have a weird feeling. Oh, not only did they not give up a goal, they scored the second. Joaquin Correa. 2 goals in 8 minutes. Give it up for that man. Damn. That boy's a beast. Lautaro Martinez coming in for Eden Dzeko in the 80th just to secure a victory, get more shots on the net. Shit, they might even score 3 now. But first lock of the day, let's go. Hitting the parlay. Could the parlay hit today? We always hit a lot of straight bets, right? But the parlay, we're just waiting for that ill parlay hitter. That ill. And it's cooking. It's came so close so many times. But for you to pick every game right, you got to give it up for anybody who does that. I remember first week of the Premier League, 10-0. That was ridiculous. And I remember on little pick'ems at work, I think, not last year, but like 2 years ago. And shout out Champlin. He would run that shit. But, bro, picked every game right on pick'ems. And I was just thinking, like over the past couple weeks, like, bro, if I put that into a parlay on FanDuel, God knows. But this podcast keep cooking, trying to integrate everything, build up the subscribers, build up the people who are watching, supporting, liking, subscribing, sharing it, telling y'all friends about it. It's just lit. Just a kid from Rhode Island. Grinding. Let's get it. Now, let's get into NFL Week 8. It's the first lock we got for y'all. Oh, shit. Chicago at home versus San Fran. Now, San Fran, -4 favorites. If we look more closely at it. -4, -200 on the money line. Now, Chicago's missing their head coach, Matt Nagy. Khalil Mack, also out, so you don't have that pressure off the edge. San Fran can dominate. Can absolutely dominate anytime they want. Throw all over you. They don't really have the running game, but I think San Fran gets it done, especially because Nagy, I think he's in the COVID protocol or something like that. And actually, what I wanted to do before we actually get into this, go take a look at Rap. What's the latest? Texans not expected to trade Brandon Cooks. Damn. Well, that game time decision. Trey Lance getting the Patty Mahomes little plan. Deshaun Watson, Rob Gronkowski game time decision. Trent Williams expected to play, so that's a big plus for the 49ers. Alex Collins expected to go. Devontae Parker expected back. Austin Eckler, that's, bruh, you hardly see players act like that. Now, it's kind of dope, but I also think, like, you're playing too much into it. Like, you're an NFL player. It's almost like juju. But we gonna move on. Just my quick thoughts on that bullshit. But T.Y. Hilton, thought he looked good at practice. Some optimism he'll be out there in a huge division game. Von Miller hasn't practiced all week. Said he wants to play. They're talking about trading him. Probably won't play. Beckham Jr. said he will. Will probably be out there, game time decision for Jadeveon Clowney, but that shit might get sketchy. Jets activating Gerard Davis from injured reserve. Huge linebacker for them, especially when C.J. Mosley, questionable. That could be a big fill-in right there. Now, I think that motherfucker was biting my foot. Damn. I don't think we could go a couple shows without him. Mosquito just fucking a kid up. Damn. You ever get that mosquito bite? Boom, right on top of the foot. That shit crazy. But those are some of the latest news. Shout out rap. But let's get into it. First lock of the day. Chicago versus San Fran. We're locking in. I think Chicago might cover at home. But San Fran guaranteed to get the victory. We're taking them minus 200 on the money line. The next game we got for y'all. Detroit at home versus Philly. Now Philly, they just put Miles Sanders on IR. Off back-to-back losses. Detroit, even though they're winless on the year, at home, could they get it done? They're plus 3.5. I think they get their first win of the year in this game. I think they're gonna come out against Sirianni. I think they get this victory, but we're gonna take them plus 3.5, lock it in. Now the Rams didn't cover that crazy spread last week. This week, minus 16 on the spread at Houston. Now Houston just traded Ingram. You got Cooks bitching on social media about it, and there's a bunch of bullshit going on over there in Houston. They're off back-to-back losses by 20-plus points. Only 8 points combined in their last 2 games. That's disgusting. And LA Rams coming off a 3-game win streak, looking for another win versus one of the worst teams in the league. I think they cover the spread this week, locking them in. Actually, minus 6, yeah, still minus 16. I didn't know if it would have dropped to minus 15.5. That minus 16 even number, kind of looking a little sketchy. But I think them not covering last week, people will probably stay away from it. But I think they're going to blow out Houston on the road. Lock them in, minus 16. The next game we got for the 1 o'clock games. Cincinnati on the road versus the Jets. Jets, Zach Wilson out. Corey Davis, doubtful. Little notable for your fantasy lineup. And C.J. Mosley in the middle of that defense, he's questionable. Even though the Jets just activated Gerard Davis. I think Cincinnati going on the road versus the backup quarterback to a rookie who's already been not performing. And imagine this man just what is his name? Mike White? Imagine he comes out of nowhere, straight balls out, and all of a sudden it's a QB competition. Because Zach Wilson, he's thrown a lot of picks this year. But he kind of got thrown into the fire too, especially with the Jets. We see how quarterbacks turn out over there in New York. So I'm thinking Joey B, Smoking Joe, He's going to go on the road with Jamal Chase, T. Hig. Them boys going to be out there balling. Can't forget Tyler Boyd, Joe Mixon, cutting folks up. And I think -11, guaranteed they covered the spread. We're going to lock him in. -11 on the road in MetLife, where I just was last week. Front row at the game. That shit was hectic. Even though it's rocking the JC horn. Panthers lost 25-3. Fuck it. Seen Sam Darnold run out of bounds in his own In his own 30 yards of the field. Run out of bounds on a fucking third down. Picked up I think he picked up negative yards. I think he lost yards on the play. It's basically he sacked himself. That shit's awful. But that's how it is being a Carolina Panthers fan sometimes. So, the next game we got for y'all. LA Chargers at home versus the New England Patriots. Now, LA Chargers favored 4.5. And this is going to kick off the 4 o'clock games. Now, I think Seattle, they have to beat the Jaguars. But the Jaguars might surprise some people on the road. But Chargers, favored by 4.5 at home. They were -220. Now they're -210. That line might shift to -4 even. But I think with the Chargers, even though they got the worst rush defense, and this is where the props play into it, New England, they just lost J.C. Jackson in their secondary. Now let me not get it fucked up. Enter 2-0 victory, okay? No, who's the corner? Oh, boom, boom, boom. Jonathan Jones, that's who it was. See, always want to make sure get the shit accurate. But damn, losing Jones in the slot. That's gonna be. I think it's gonna be a hit for them. I thought it was J.C. Jackson. J.C. Jackson, he's a dog alongside Jalen Mills. It might be tough for Herbert today. I think it's gonna be a close game, but even though they're at home, I don't think they'll cover that. We're gonna take them to win the game. And with the Chargers having the worst rush defense, we're going to take the prop bet of, we'll go over and look at prop bets to make sure it hasn't changed. Now, Damian Harris, over under on rushing yards, 71.5. If he doesn't get banged up, and knock on wood for that, if he doesn't get banged up in this game, I think he's guaranteed to hit the over 71.5. And with them having the worst rush defense, and I'm going to hammer that point because they give up yards all over. They don't play favorites. Anybody can rush all over them. Bruh, their last game, Chargers gave up 187 yards on the ground, averaging 162 yards given up on the ground per game. That's awful. That's almost 20 more than Houston, and that's saying something. So, I think Damian Harris is going to have a day. Put him in your FanDuel lineup. Make sure you're starting him in your fantasy lineup. Wherever you're doing fantasy, whether it's season long, daily, wherever you're doing it, put him in there, lock him in. Forget it. He's cash this week. And for passing, you got Mac Jones, who has thrown in totals in 4 straight games before last week's game versus the Jets. He has 6 picks in his last 5 games. And granted, he's a rookie, so the intros come with it. But his over-under on picks is obviously a half. I remember when we were talking about, if we ever see an over-under go to 1.5, that would be crazy. And for Zach Wilson, it did. And then for that next game, it hit. Pretty sure he played the Saints at home. and it hit. He threw 2 picks with 1 at the end of the game. Absolutely crazy. But Mac Jones sitting at a half, so that means for him to throw a pick. We're going to take the over at half, -150, lock it in, guaranteed to throw the pick. Whether it's Derwin James coming through or somebody else on that stacked defense who's been playing well as of late. If you look at their secondary, sitting 4th in the league, only giving up 201.8 yards per game through the air. That's solid. Their last game only gave up 140. Chargers out there balling on their secondary and on defense in general, even though their rush defense is absolutely basura, garbage, trash. You gotta get it together. That shit's hectic. You can't give up 160 plus yards per game on the ground. Like that's unheard of. But Damian Harris will have a day, and Mac Jones will throw a pick. But I think it's gonna be a shootout, and we're gonna lock in for my pick this game. We're gonna take the Chargers money line. I think Herbert will get it done. He's a little bit, second year player. I think he's gonna get it done for sure. He's gonna teach the rookie, all right, this is how you do it. This is my house. I'm gonna make sure I get this victory. And what's a huge game, huge 4 o'clock game. Now the next 4 o'clock game, we got Tampa Bay on the road versus New Orleans. It's a division matchup. I think it'll be closer than people think. And it definitely will be. The line shifted from 4.5 now to 4 points. Antonio Brown ruled out. Tampa Bay shifted from -220 to -210 on the money line. That's kind of identical to the Patriots Chargers. And even though New Orleans, they looked iffy all game at Seattle last week. Even though they might cover in this divisional matchup, I'm going to take Tampa Bay. You already know TB12, the GOAT. What is he coming off? Like 5 straight? So, let's look more into it. Pretty sure he's coming off like 5 straight victories. Them boys, all 4 straight victories. They lost that game to the Rams, which we picked the Rams. Let's go. Let's go. Hot 6 locks again. But all 4 straight victories, 38-3 dub at home versus Chicago last week. Beat Philly on the road in a close game the week before that. Dominated Miami. That New England game, the return to New England, got that 2-point victory. I was at that game too. That shit was hectic. Absolutely hectic atmosphere. Like the sounds from the stadium, just walking in, like from the outside. And this is from like a little bit of a distance on the walk-in. Bruh, that shit was absolutely insane. But we're going to take Tampa Bay because Jameis, it's not that the Saints looked iffy. It was really Jameis. Decision making, wide receivers dropping balls, people not lining up. They almost blew that game at Seattle. We took a money line, but they were sitting at a -4 spread. I think for this game, even though it shifted down at half to -4 even, also in this game, we're going to take Tampa Bay on the money line, -210 to get the victory on the road. It's a division matchup. It's going to be tough, but I think they pull it out. New Orleans could surprise some people, cover the spread, maybe even win on some sneaky shit at home. And that'll just be because Tampa Bay so banged up on defense. But stacked linebackers, stacked line, I think they get it done. And my last lock of the day, we're going to take Minnesota. Actually, this is tough. This is tough to call early because you don't know if Dak's going to play. We'll give you a pick for if he does and if he doesn't. Now, Minnesota favored -3 at home. If Dak doesn't play, you have to. It's obvious. You're going to pick the Vikings. If the Vikings don't win that game versus Cooper Rush, bruh, wash the hands, wrap it up. it's out of here. That's the season. If you can't beat Cooper Rush at home in what is a huge game, because Cowboys, they're rolling right now. And to look more into that, Dak's been performing 5-1 on the year, all 5 straight victories, beat New England in overtime last week. Granted, the last 3 games before that, Giants okay, Carolina okay, Philly okay, but Chargers, that was a close victory on the road. Cowboys traveling on the road again, Sunday Night Football, prime time. That shit's gonna get hectic. I don't think there's any way Dak doesn't play in this game. I think he might play. And then if they get up early, put Cooper Rush in. But they really say he's a game time decision. He's gonna go through his warm-ups pregame, see how it's gonna play out with that calf injury. But if he doesn't play, we're gonna look at Minnesota, 26th versus the Rush, giving up 128 per game on the ground. In their last game, they gave up 118. Over their last 3, giving up 136 yards per game on the ground. I think mad people are going to go on Zeke, but I think Pollard, with the over-under 42.5 on his rushing yards, I think they're going to have to run the ball a lot. And this is specifically based on if Dak doesn't play or if he's banged up so much that they don't throw the ball as much. Don't really want him moving around a lot. Just run the ball. Minnesota's rush defense, not all that good. And with Pollard's rushing yards, 42.5, it might shift a little bit, but we're going to lock in the over 42.5. And with each team coming off a bye week, let's see how they get back into rhythm, right? So I think the -3 spread is close. I think it's accurate. But if Dak doesn't play, hammer the Vikings. If he does play, it's a sketchy spread because he could re-injure that. And knock on wood, hope he doesn't, but it's definitely a possibility. And that wraps up the show. Now, put on that JB. Where's JB at? JB on a beat. See, I don't even know why this history. There it is. Can't play that. That's a copyright infringement. But let's turn this up. Shout out to JB on a beat. That boy, his page coming soon. Them beats dropping. And he's cooking. Hit it again. Check live scores quick. Anything late from Rappaport. We'll have pins removed from his finger early on this week. Very good sign. This, that. Wants to play. Any concern about Dak's calf? Not playing. Let's go. Let's have a day. I say, can we extend it to 31? On this spooky Sunday. Halloween Sunday. Let's go.